live via satellite from Hollywood. It's Rockline, the show where you interview the biggest stars in rock and roll. Rockline is distributed in Canada by the Rock Radio Network.
Tonight, Rockline is very pleased to give you the extremely rare opportunity to speak with Eddie and Alex Van Halen. If you got a question for the brothers Van Halen, call our toll-free number at 1-800-344-ROCK. That's 1-800-344-7625. One number toll-free from anywhere in North America. I suppose it goes without saying that Rockline holds Van Halen in very high regard. They are the only artist ever to appear on back-to-back Rockline shows. And tonight's program begins their third back-to-back appearance. In addition to drawing on the rich catalog of Van Halen material tonight, we will be playing lots of stuff from the new album Balance, which entered the Billboard charts at number 1 and now is joining the other 10 Van Halen albums as million sellers. Their tour begins March 11th with Collective Soul in Pensacola, Florida, and we are proud to welcome back to Rockline the nucleus of that little old band out of Pasadena, Edward and Alex Van Halen. Gentlemen.
Howdy, how are you out there?
How you doing?
Hi, Steve, how are you?
Good to see you. The new do is you, Eddie, I gotta say.
And if we could only see you.
That's right. Well, I got a good face for radio, what can I tell you? You know, I call you guys the nucleus of the band. Of course, I'm sure there's some obvious reasons for that, but the reason why I bring it up is because most of the material through the years that you guys write generates from the two of you initially, doesn't it? It really starts with the two of you kind of...
Yeah, well, not really. It's kind of a... there's a chemistry that happens when the four of us get together. If one person was missing from that, the chemistry would be different. It just wouldn't be the same. Mm-hmm. And I know Sam's listening, so hey, Sam. I think people always try to make something out of nothing, really. Mm-hmm. The reason why it's a band of four people is because there are four individuals in it. Mm-hmm. And that's about it.
Eddie, you, many people would feel that one of the critical turning points for this band was when Sammy joined back in the mid-'80s. And I wonder if now, here we are like 10 years later, if you feel that this band is at another crossroads, and I'm speaking specifically of the passing of your manager, Ed Loeffler, about a year and a half ago. What was that like for you guys, and how has that sort of changed the direction, if at all, of the band?
Well, I can't say that it's consciously changed our direction musically, but when we heard that he had terminal cancer, I mean, it was a major shock to us all. Mm-hmm. Because besides being our manager, he was more... I mean, he lived right down the street from me, right. And we were buddies. You know, we were very close friends. Mm-hmm. And so we were all very much in shock. And I think what you do when you're, I guess, in that state of mind, you kind of tend to gravitate to something that you know, which is making music. Mm-hmm. So the first thing Alex and I did was go in the studio and try to forget mm-hmm. about, the pain. Mm-hmm. And, maybe subconsciously it filtered into the music we wrote for this record. But, I mean, we all miss him dearly,
sure, of course. And he was, from the way I understand it anyway, he was, if I dare say, much more than a manager.
Oh, that's what I said, yeah. I mean, he was more a friend than a manager.
Absolutely. We are just getting started here with 90 Minutes with Eddie and Alex from the album Balance, Van Halen on Rockline. Don't Tell Me What Love Can Do, Van Halen from the Balance album. A very special evening with Eddie and Alex tonight on Rockline, and if you'd like to ask either of these fine gentlemen a question, I suggest you give us a call right now on our toll-free AT&T number, 1-800-344-ROCK. That's 1-800-344-7625. Rockline is presented in part by 1-800-CALL-ATT. For long-distance collect calls, know the code. Dial 1-800-CALL-ATT. All right, welcome back to Rockline. And before we get to your calls for Eddie and Alex, we'd like to welcome two more new members into the Rockline family of the best rock stations in North America. Tonight, we're very excited about having everyone listening to us on 94.9 Zeta in beautiful Miami, Florida. And joining us for the first time also, 92.1 The Blitz in Columbus, Tupelo, Mississippi has joined Rockline. We look forward to hearing from you folks tonight and every Monday night on truly interactive radio Rockline. Let's get to the phones right away. Heather is in Toronto, Ontario tonight listening to Q107. Heather, you're on with Eddie and Alex Van Halen.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Heather.
I just want to tell you that I think you're so great.
Well, thank you.
And my friends Tom, Scott, and Jason think you're great.
Cool.
Also, my question is, on the cover of Balance, are the two Siamese twins symbolizing the Van Halen logo?
No, they're not. We've answered that question so many times that Ed's going to have to kick me upside the head to stop me from rambling. But I'll just kind of touch on a couple of things that we tried to symbolize with that picture. It's kind of a duality. It has to do with one person, what you do to another. It comes back to you pretty quickly. It has to do with a balance within everybody of the age-old struggle between good and evil. And before I get too deep, we can also go that balance is really the title of the picture, and it's to let people know that we have a new record out. So, we don't take it too seriously, but we try to incorporate a number of different things into that.
Including a sense of humor, like the Siamese twins are sitting on a seesaw that they could never use.
That's right. Really? There's a problem right there.
That's right.
Didn't I hear that there were certain countries, with Singapore or someplace, that were not real keen on that album?
Yeah, Japan.
Or Japan,
wouldn't go for it. Yeah. And I guess it's just because they consider it a deformity, and they wouldn't go for that. So the Japanese cover only has one kid, and we suggested putting the other figure kind of like a ghostly figure behind the other one. And they said, no, we don't like ghosts either.
Yeah, you can't please them all. What can you do? Thanks, Heather, for getting us started there. Shelley is in Lancaster, Kentucky tonight, listening to 98 Rock Double Q in Lexington. Hi, Shelley.
Hi. What's up?
Hi, how are you?
Just fine. My question is, what is your favorite thing about being in the studio?
This particular one, or in our studio?
I would imagine about your studio. Guess.
Well, it's a place where us four get together and kind of unload all of our creative ideas and kind of stir it up and make a big pot of soup out of it and what we call records.
Do you ever? Does anybody else ever work in 5150? Do you open that up at all, or is it exclusively for the band?
Only the band.
Yeah. Okay. Sean is in Hutchinson, Kansas tonight, listening to KICT 95 in Wichita. Hey, Sean.
Hey.
Hey.
Howdy.
What's going on? Hey, I got a question for Ed. Alex, am I trying to leave you out?
That's okay.
Hey, Ed,
the bookend.
Okay, here's the question. Okay, over the years, I'm a huge fan of you guys, first of all, but over the years of listening to you guys, Ed, I've noticed that, I know you've probably been asked this a lot, but over the years, the guitar sound, from you can hear just like a difference from, say, the last album you did with Dave, 1984, as to 5150. I was just kind of curious, did you do anything different, or?
Well, I'm always experimenting, but it's basically all the same equipment. It's just sometimes moving the microphone from the speaker 1 inch makes a difference. So, I'm always searching for the sound, so to speak, and, it just changes over the years.
Didn't you actually tune down, though, when Roth was in the band?
We did that years ago, yeah.
Oh, really?
Because, his range wasn't really that good, so we had to tune down so we could hit the notes.
But it's really, if I'm wondering if that's what he's hearing, is if it actually...
Oh, that's a possibility. Yeah.
Nah, I think he's hearing that inch.
Probably. Hey, we all have from time to time, you know what I mean? We're going to take our first call from Miami tonight as we welcome Zeta on to Rockline. Al is in Miami Beach this evening. Hi, Al.
Hello, Eddie and Alex. How are you?
How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Listen, I'm one of your greatest fans. I'm going to see you all 5 times in Florida. I can't wait. I've seen you guys 60 times.
Cool.
You guys are the greatest. Anyway, Eddie, you inspired me to play guitar, and as you have millions of other guitar players, and it's been great listening to you over the years. You've definitely been an inspiration. And I had a question for Alex, actually. Just wanted to let you guys know that.
I'm off the hook. Great.
Okay.
I'm here for it.
Alex, after 9 studio albums, how'd you come about choosing the 10th to actually do a drum solo on the album? And Eddie, I also wanted to ask you the same question about the instrumental.
Well, first of all, I don't think it wasn't really a drum solo. It was just I was playing and nobody else was. But okay, I'm not trying to be funny. Is Bruce? I think was really
Bruce Fairburn.
Bruce Fairburn was very, very instrumental. I can't say it. I didn't mean that as a joke. If he hadn't have been there, that piece of music would not have been on there because I'm not going to fight for something which is generally seen as an ego trip. So
actually, it started out as my idea.
Yeah,
really.
So it was a 2-minute piece of music that led into Blue Chitherium really nicely, and Bruce said, "Yeah, I like it," and so I said, "Fine."
And it worked, and there you have it. Yeah. Al, thanks for the call. We've talked a little bit about some of the deeper aspects of this album. Let's balance that on Rockline with a song that has all the subtlety of a runaway train. This one's called Big Fat Money. Now, having just returned from a weekend in Vegas, that's a very familiar sound, actually.
I never did get
one coin.
Yeah, one coin, yes.
I never did get that quarter back, Al.
The sound of one coin falling. Big Fat Money from Van Halen. Eddie and Alex are with us tonight. And friends, we have flooded the system. A few weeks back, the folks at America Online gave us an 800 number to pass along to you to get info about our deal to set up with 10 free hours of AOL. Well, they received so many calls through that particular number that they simply could not process the request fast enough. So what we've done is, what they've done actually is set us up with our very own exclusive Rockline online hotline, if you will. And next week, we'll have that brand new number for you. So be sure to be listening to that. You'll get an introductory offer of 10 hours of AOL free on us. Once online, you'll find tons of information about upcoming shows, transcripts, sound bites, pictures, message boards that allow you to talk to me. Hi. Also, Rockline producer Jim Villanueva. And you can give us suggestions on who you'd like to have on the show here in future shows and a whole lot more. We'll have that special Rockline online number for you next week. We're going to go online right now. C.A. Howard has plugged in to America Online. And he wants to know, Ed, he saw the Jeff Porcaro benefit concert that you participated in L.A. here a couple of years ago. How well did you know Jeff? And what was it like playing next to George Harrison?
Oh, it was a lot of fun, and Jeff Porcaro, Steve Porcaro, Mike Porcaro, Steve Lukather, David Page, all the members of Toto are very close friends of mine, and that was a shock too when he passed away.
Yes, it was.
And of course, I offered to help in any way. It was to raise money for his wife and his kids,
Right.
So yeah, it was an honor to be part of it, and it was great to jam with George Harrison and everybody else there.
Yeah, cool. All right, C.A., thanks, buddy. We're going to go back to the telephone now. Anthony is in Danbury, Texas, listening to 101 KLOL in Houston tonight. Hi, Anthony.
Hello. How you doing?
Howdy.
Hey, Ed.
Hey.
Eddie, Alex, how y'all doing tonight?
Good. How you doing?
All right, well, pretty good, buddy. Hey, I got a question. Not to leave you out, Alex, but Eddie.
That's all right.
It's about keyboards.
Yeah?
All right. Okay. On 5151, when y'all first got with Sammy, y'all played almost half the whole album was like on keys, and they were really good songs, and they're still in 1995 they're not dated. Why don't y'all still do things at least one or two songs on keys?
Well,
3 or 4 songs even.
Well, on the new record there is a song called Not Enough, which is a keyboard song. But in actuality, back on our third album, Women and Children First, that was the first record I used keyboards on, a song called And the Cradle Will Rock. And in 1984, obviously Jump was on keyboards, and I'll Wait. I've always played keyboards, and it just happened to be that on 5150, there were 3 songs on keyboards as opposed to 1 on this record.
Yeah, keyboards is not a new instrument to you.
No, actually I've been playing keyboards longer than guitar.
Really?
Yeah. Alex and I both started when we were 6 years old.
Wow. Yeah. All right, Anthony, thanks. Jeff is in Chicago tonight, listening to 97.9 FM, The Loop in Chicago. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
I was still thinking about that last question. I think it was backwards. He wanted to know why there weren't more keyboards on the last record.
Okay, Jeff, fire away, buddy.
Hello. The new album is big and bad, guys.
Thanks.
Big and bad. Anyway, I heard that there's a tune called Crossing Over on the Japanese version of the album, the import, and I've heard that Eddie and Al both play drums.
and one on the left and one on the right, and I was curious as to what the genesis of that song was and if that's in fact true.
Well, it was an old demo that I had done all by myself in the studio. I had a real close friend of mine committed suicide. And,
Jeez, this whole show is better.
Well, yeah. I'd written the lyrics. I played bass, drums, guitar, and actually sang on it, too. And actually, if you put the balance all the way to the left, you'll hear my original demo. And on the right, you hear Sammy's treatment vocally to the song, and Alex playing drums also.
Wow. There's that word balance again. Yeah. Unbelievable. All right, Jeff, thank you very much. We still got lots to go here before we're done, and you can call in to 1-800-344-ROCK and talk to Eddie and Alex Van Halen live on the Global Satellite Network. We'll be back.
Taking your calls live on Rockline. Give me a call. Now back to Steve Downs.
Oh, he did that like a pro, didn't he?
Sam, I thought you was here.
Next Monday night, you'll get your chance to talk with the other half of the Dream Team as we welcome Sammy and Michael Anthony to Rockline. It'll be part 2 of our unprecedented back-to-back visit with Van Halen, featuring Sammy and Michael next Monday night, exclusively on Interactive Radio Rockline. My name is Steve Downs, here in our Hollywood Rockline studios with the brothers Van Halen for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge.
Hey, come on, man. Wake up.
March 12th, you can catch Van Halen in Jacksonville, in the Tampa-St. Pete area on the 14th, in Miami on the 17th, on March 18th in Orlando, the 20th in Tupelo, Mississippi, on Tuesday, March 21st in New Orleans, and Dallas, Texas on the 24th. The 25th, they'll be in San Antonio, in Houston on the 26th, El Paso on the 28th, Albuquerque, New Mexico, March 29th, and March 31st in Las Vegas, Nevada. See if you can win a little of that back for me. They loved me in Vegas. You know, they had a big welcome mat when I came into town. Let's get back to the phones now. Eric is in Farmington, Missouri tonight, listening to KC95 in St. Louis. Hi, Eric.
Eddie, now congratulations on another hell of a record, man.
Thank you, man.
Sounds good. My question is, how has the 90s Van Halen changed musically from the 70s and the 80s Van Halen?
Wow, that's a tough question. It's like saying, what's the 2000 model going to be like? Who knows? Music is something that's, you take it day by day, and I think when you make music that moves you without any real motive for making the music other than just what I just said, I think that's kind of explains itself. You know, it's so hard to put your finger on the intangible things that comes out of making a record that you're happy with. Eddie? Does that answer your question?
It's really, we don't put it this way. We don't really think about it. We just make the best possible music that pleases us, and we don't sit around and contrive songs. We just whatever comes out, so we don't plan on changing. It's a natural thing.
It's a real soulful thing, really. Greg is in West Haven, Connecticut, listening to 106 WHCN in Hartford tonight. Greg, you're on with Eddie and Alex.
Hi, Eddie. Hey, Alex. How you doing?
Howdy.
Was any material off balance new material, or was it like some old from past albums, or?
There were a couple of things that were seeds of ideas, but 99.9% all brand new, written between June and September of '94.
All right, Greg, thanks for the call. It's going to be a different Van Halen record when the first track opens up with is that Tibetan monk chants or Gregorian chants, or what is that exactly that opens up Seventh Seal?
Bunch of monkeys chanting.
Bunch of monkeys? Tibetan monkeys, probably.
It set the mood, it set the mood for the song.
Van Halen on Rockline, the Seventh Seal. From Van Halen's album Balance. Eddie and Alex with us tonight, and back to the phones now. Frank is in Omaha this evening listening to Z92. Hi, Frank.
Hi, Eddie. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Frank.
I've been a long-time fan. I caught a couple of shows of yours in Europe, and I only caught one in the United States. And I was wondering how the audience is different from the European audiences in the United States.
Wow. Well, obviously, American people speak better English, but outside of that...
Do you find that to be true, really?
I don't know. It's a trip. We just did a promotional tour over there, and we did a couple of club shows, live radio broadcast kind of deals. And it's amazing that in the foreign country, they actually sing along more than they do here.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah. But I don't think that the audiences are any different. I think rock and roll audience is a rock and roll audience.
So that crosses all boundaries. Yeah. Alex, you mentioned that this album, Balance, is the first Van Halen record to go #1 in Japan.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's
it's not that you look for those kind of things, but when it falls in your lap, you kind of say, hey, check this out.
Absolutely. Brian's in Tallahassee tonight listening to Rock 104. Hey, Brian.
Hey.
Hey, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
What's going on?
Just hanging.
Cool. Listen, I was wanting to ask you guys about your choice of producer, Bruce Fairbairn. And I was reading an interview, and you said that a good producer shouldn't have a stamp on an album, but I think Bruce kind of did influence your album with the choice of, Al's solo and...
well, I mean, he had a lot of input in certain respects, but he was more of an outside ear as opposed to... hey, Eddie, use this amplifier and play like this. And, you know what I mean? It wasn't like, how do you say, like he was molding us to be the Monkees or something, you know? It's like Van Halen's going to sound like Van Halen no matter who produces. But there are a lot of producers out there that try to make a band sound their way as opposed to getting the best out of the band. You know what I mean?
If you had to say what his particular stamp was on Balance,
a universal musical sense, I think.
Yeah,
he's a musician,
very musical,
and there was also mutual respect, and it was you can't put it into words, but when you walk in the room and Bruce doesn't, like Ed mentioned, he doesn't tell you step by step what you should do. He just kind of lets you hang, just giving you enough rope, and then reels you back in. But I think the most important thing is that having he's like a fifth member of the band for that time that you're in the studio, and you have to be able to get along. And personality-wise, he fit right in.
Brian, thanks for the call. Listen, be sure to send in your postcards for your chance to win one of our 1995 edition Rockline AT&T calendars. It'll be signed by all the guests that appear on the show during the month of February. To be eligible to win, put your name, address, and the station you're listening to right now on a postcard and mail it to 1995 Rockline Calendar, P.O. Box 4383, Hollywood, California, 90078. The 95 Rockline calendars are brought to you, as always, by AT&T. More with Eddie and Alex Van Halen coming up. A reminder here that everyone who gets on the air tonight with either Eddie or Alex will receive a copy of Balance, courtesy of our friends at Warner Brothers Records. Autographed, I think, yes? I believe they will. Well, hopefully, if you behave yourselves, maybe they'll autograph them tonight for you. Let's go to Ari, I think that is, in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, listening to 94 WYSP in Philly tonight. Ari?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, Alex and Eddie. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good.
All right. I was just going to say, good job on the new album. It's, excellent sound. Sounds nice and raw. I like the analog.
Thank you.
And also, good job to Bruce Fairbairn. I was wondering, are you guys planning on bringing along any bands with you when you go on tour?
Oh, definitely. As of now, the first part of the tour, Collective Soul, is opening.
Okay.
Is that okay?
We're asked to bring Extreme along on your last tour, but I heard they decided to play with Jimmy Page and David Coverdale. I was wondering if that was true.
No, I don't know. I'll tell you, it's sometimes when you're in the middle of the eye of the storm, you're the last person to hear some of this stuff. As a matter of fact, I didn't know we had a song, an import that had a...
Is that right?
Yeah.
You heard it on Rockline.
That's right.
By the way, speaking of Collective Soul, they're going to be here on Rockline on March 13th to debut their brand new record, and we'll look forward to that, and they will be opening the first part of the tour with Van Halen. Let me give a few more dates here, if I can, where you can catch Van Halen in April on the 1st in Phoenix, on the 2nd in San Diego, here in Los Angeles on the 4th, in Oakland on the 7th, San Jose on the 8th, Sacramento on the 9th, and then moving to the Midwest to Chicago on April 14th. And we'll pass along a few more Van Halen dates as time allows. Aaron is in Rogers, Arkansas tonight, listening to KEG 92 in Fayetteville. Aaron.
Hey.
Hi, Aaron.
Van Halen is Arkansas's favorite rock band.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I just wanted to know if you guys, with the older songs like Panama and especially Jump, if you all play those because you want to, or if it's more of like a crowd pleaser type thing.
Well, it's a little bit of both. I mean, obviously, I love the songs. I mean, we wrote them, so we enjoy playing them. And, when you got 10 albums out, it's tough to pick what to play and what not to play, because a lot of songs are crowd favorites. If you don't play them, people get a little ticked off. And so, we try to have, no pun intended, but a balance, once again, of old and new. And we mix it up from night to night, too. So, we never really do the exact same set every night.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That keeps it fresh for everybody. One of those old songs that was given a new birth on the live album in 1993 was this one, Ain't Talking About Love.
The ending's as long as the song.
You thought it was only 1 minute.
That's
the
right.
ending was 1 minute.
That's right. The ending alone.
When you're in the middle of that, you don't realize it.
Yeah, what an ending, though. Ain't Talking About Love from the live album, Live Right Here, Right Now from Van Halen, which we are right here and right now with Eddie and Alex. James is in Hollywood, Florida tonight listening to Zeta in Miami. Hey, James.
How you doing?
Hey, James.
Hi, Alex. Hi, Eddie.
How are you?
Not too bad. Got a couple quick questions for you, Eddie. First, do you still use the Ibanez Destroyer you used in the first album and on Women and Children First? And do you plan on using it in the future, especially live in concert?
Go ahead.
And also for Alex, do you plan on playing any more big sets in the future? I'm personally a fan. I like the sets you have, especially designs you have on them, and I think they're terrific.
Thank you.
The Ibanez guitar, I kind of hacked it up, like the way it looks on the cover of Women and Children First. I actually really ruined the sound of it, and so I won't be using it because it's not in one piece anymore.
God.
I actually play my Music Man guitar now.
And the big kit, I think he was asking about. Are you still, Alex?
Well, I've always just used what I felt was appropriate for what we were doing at the time. It's I think the sound systems have gotten the concert PA systems have gotten so much better that you don't really need the size of the drums that I was using at the time to get the same sound. But who knows? I just kind of go with it, whatever feels comfortable at the time.
Yeah. It's funny because both of you cite as major influences in your early days, Eddie, you cite Eric Clapton, and Alex, you cite Ginger Baker.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He was a musician on drums.
Yeah.
Ed and I used to get into beefs. When we had enough money to buy one poster, I get to cut out Ginger Baker, and Ed gets to keep Clapton, and then we beat each other up.
Because it was my poster.
There you go. Let's move upstate in the Sunshine State to Gainesville. Jeff is listening to Rock 104 tonight. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hi,
How
Jeff.
you doing?
Hey, man, I want to say one thing. The album is really killer. You got a lot of variety on it, and I think it's one of the best albums I've ever heard personally in my life. So, I mean, it's a really, really good album.
Thank you.
And also, I'm a Bob Hope classic, Ed. You got a nice swing, man. Just slow it up a little bit. The back stroke goes back too fast. You just need to slow it up.
No,
anyway, my question to you is I know it's tough for a band, 4 guys that make it through so many years together and hang out and go in the studio, put together an album, and not have conflicts between the band and all. And I was just wanting to know, it's been like 4 years between your last album and now. Does the band stay together like when you're not in the studio, when you're doing your own thing, you're with your family and stuff? Do you keep in touch, and how does that work?
Sure we do. We're always hanging out. But the thing is, it hasn't really been, it seems like a long time since our last record, but we toured for 3 years, and we released a live record, and we were in the studio recording this record. So really, there's been no time off. And in actuality, I'm getting sick of seeing these guys because I see them too much.
Now you mention it.
They're actually in 2 different rooms tonight, Jeff.
No, we see a lot of each other, even when we're not working.
Pat's in Binghamton, New York, listening to WKGB-FM. Pat, you're on with Eddie and Alex.
Hi, guys. Great new album from you.
Thank you.
Fantastic album. Where did you get the title for the song, Belusa Therium?
Can you pronounce it, can you? Oh, I just thought I'd throw in a tongue twister. No, I actually, the song had vocals on it at first, but it didn't really add anything to it. So it was Bruce Fairbairn's suggestion to leave the vocals off, and it in turn became an instrumental. And then, how do you title an instrumental? Well, everyone who heard it said it sounded huge and big. Large. So, actually, Valerie, my wife, was looking through this dinosaur mammal book, and actually Baluchitherium is the biggest mammal that ever lived. Not a dinosaur, but a mammal.
And a rather large piece of music, too. Van Halen. How'd they do? Was that close?
That was my dog in the very end.
Really?
Yeah.
Great instrumental piece there. You'll find it on Balance, the new one from Van Halen. We will have more of your phone calls, more music, and more from Eddie and Alex coming up on the Global Satellite Network. We are back live for a special part one of a two-part Van Halen Rockline. Eddie and Alex with us tonight. Keith is in Westlake Village, California, listening. There it is.
Whistling.
I got through Baluchitherium, but I couldn't do listening. 97.1 KLSX in Los Angeles. Hi, Keith.
You there?
Hey.
Yeah.
What's up, Keith?
Hey, during Desert Storm, I saw a couple interviews with fighter pilots who were listening to your song Dreams and using that as a motivational tool as they were going into battle. Was that the highest compliment you guys have ever received?
It was right up there, yeah. I mean, they listened to that song to pump themselves up to go into battle. And what I heard is, what they also told us is that they actually listened to country music on the way out. Which I thought was kind of funny.
Garth Brooks, no doubt.
No, but really, I mean, just
hey, Garth.
For them to, I guess, take a piece of home with them in the battle, I think, hell of an honor.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to make you feel good. Thanks, Keith. Denise is in Watertown, New York, listening to 97.5 CIZ-FM. Hi, Denise.
Hi. My question is for Eddie. Is it true that you refuse to give any magazine an interview if your band can't be pictured on the cover? And if this is true, why?
No.
No, it's not true. I don't know where you heard that.
There you go. Setting the record straight on Rockline tonight. Back to the Philly area we go. Mark is in Everett, Pennsylvania tonight, listening to 94 WYSP. Mark, you're on with Eddie and Alex.
Hi. My question is for Eddie. I was wondering if his son Wolfie has attended any of his dad's concerts yet.
Oh, yeah. He's been to a lot of them. He's actually been out on stage a couple times, too.
Really?
Yeah.
How old is he now?
He'll be 4 next month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Outstanding. With the gleam in your eye there.
Oh, yeah.
That's
He's
great.
the greatest.
All right, Mark. Paul is in Gary, Indiana, listening to 97.9 The Loop in Chicago. Paul, what's your question?
Hey, Al. Eddie, good job on the new album. It's great. I was kind of curious, Eddie, what all your involvement was in the new Rock Casino in Vegas.
Actually, nothing.
Well, that pretty much says that.
You talking about the Hard Rock?
I guess the Hard Rock, yeah.
Well, Peter Morton just asked me to come down and hang out, so I went.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Good reason for that. All right, Paul, thanks for the call. Let me ask you guys something here, and I'll ask Eddie you first and then Alex. What do you see as the diversity between the two of you from a musical standpoint? How are you two different musically, would you say? If at all?
I think we're actually like the cover. We're the Siamese twins. We're so connected, it's ridiculous. I mean, I have a hard time playing with anybody else. We've been playing together, since day one. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't know, we're connected.
Although I think it's, and this is from what I hear other people tell me, is that I'm kind of against the grain. Maybe it's my nature, maybe it's just, I don't know what it is, but I just instinctively, if things are going one way, I try to make them go a different way, and if it's something that helps a song along, that's great. If not, then I usually get outvoted. So, believe it or not, we run things really democratically in terms of, I think it's all unspoken, but with a song, there is no right or wrong. It's just, do you like it or don't you like it, or does it move you? And it doesn't become an issue of, no, I want it my way or that way. But again, between Ed and I, it's music is, we just play.
We interact, in a way that most guitar and drummers don't. Usually it's the bass and the drummer that right. interact. With Van Halen, it's more the guitar and the drums. I mean, obviously, because we're brothers.
Yeah. Mike is in Easley, South Carolina, listening to Rock 101 in Greenville. Hey, Mike.
Hello.
Howdy.
Hey. Howdy, Ed, Alex.
Hey. How are you?
Congratulations on a great album.
Thank you.
Ed, this question is directed towards you. I read in a guitar magazine that you had given up drinking, and my question is, how are you going to deal with that, when you get out on tour? Because I understand it's kind of rough out there.
That's not really the problem. I think the main reason I drank is I tend to get nervous a lot, playing in front of a lot of people. But I don't know. It's just I don't seem to have a problem with it. We did a couple of live gigs in Europe, and I'm just drinking a ton of Sharps, non-alcoholic beer. So I stopped drinking about 5 months ago, and I'm still nervous, but I can handle it.
So are we talking about stage fright here? Do you still get...
Yeah, uh-huh.
Wow, after all these years.
Yep.
Interesting. All right, Mike, thanks for the call from 1988's OU812 on Rockline, Van Halen.
1, 2.
Van Halen from OU812. Back to the phones now. Jeremy is in Phoenix tonight, listening to 93.3 KDKB in Phoenix. Jeremy?
Hello, guys.
Howdy.
Hey, I can't wait to see you guys here in Phoenix. I'm just totally blown away by your new album. And my question is, how do you guys feel about people who bootleg your stuff and trade shows around? Because I trade shows, and I just like to, listen to the shows.
Well, you're talking about the people who bring tape recorders in and then they package them as records?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a disservice to the people who buy them. It's kind of taking people for a ride because you really can't hear anything, and
the sound quality sucks on those things.
There's nothing wrong with bringing a tape recorder and then taking it home with you and doing that routine, although I guess some buildings don't even allow that.
Right.
But, to sell that stuff, that's part of the reason why we put out a live record after 15 years, because it certainly was not a turning point for the band, like some people use live records for that. But we just wanted the fans to get something that we felt sounded like the way the band should sound.
By the way, speaking of hearing the band the way the band should sound, let me pass along some more dates to you where you can catch Van Halen. They'll be in Detroit on the 15th of April, Fort Wayne, Indiana on the 18th, Lexington, Kentucky on the 19th, Dayton, Ohio on the 21st, Cleveland on the 22nd, Charleston, West Virginia, April 23rd, April 25th at the Meadowlands in New Jersey, in Long Island on the 26th, Philly on the 28th, Boston on the 29th of April, and Providence, Rhode Island on the 30th. And I understand that is a partial list.
It's going to be a long one.
It's going to be a long show. I think it's a long tour, absolutely.
I think it's all the way through next February already.
Really? Yeah. Fantastic. Drew is in Catella, Georgia tonight, listening to Rock 103 in Columbus. Drew, what's your question for Eddie and Alex? Hello, Drew.
Wake up.
Speak right into the microphone. Okay, well, we've lost Drew. He'll be back one day. We've talked so much about balance, both on purpose and sometimes unintentionally tonight during the course of the show. What do you think is the most difficult thing for you guys to balance? And I'm not just speaking musically, but sort of in the big picture, as it were. Music and family and...
I don't know. It all seems to come pretty naturally if you just go with it. Go with the flow. But I can think of one thing that's probably the most irritating thing about touring is the redundancy of getting on a plane and getting off just to get to the next hotel that looks just like the one you came from.
Yeah.
But no, other than that, you always think that tomorrow is going to be a better day. Mm-hmm. Even if you have a good day, tomorrow's going to be better. And I think it's that kind of attitude that kind of it's an unsatisfied hunger, if you will, that keeps you going in all aspects of your life. Musically, that's why you keep looking for whatever it is that you're striving for. And if it sounds like I'm getting a little overly philosophical, it's because I'm trying to put into words something which I really am not very good at. But I know balance just comes from doing things the best you can.
Yeah.
So sometimes I personally would love to, spend a little more time with my son, because every time I'm out the door, he goes, "Daddy, why do you work so much?"
Yeah.
And I go, "So I can buy you more Power Ranger and Nintendo stuff."
And then he says, "Dad, get to work."
Exactly.
We're going to try Drew again there in Columbus, Georgia. Drew, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
All right, loud and clear, buddy. What's your question?
Yeah, I just want to know, what's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to y'all in concert?
The weirdest
in concert or after?
Anytime. Just.
Well, can't get into some of that stuff.
Well, it's we had in '86 we had a stage that had no amps on it and no drums, nothing, and the drums were hidden underneath the riser. And I'll tell you, there were 4 chain motors that had to pull it up out of the ground, and it was a crapshoot. You know, about I'd say 3 out of 4 times it would work.
Spinal Tap.
Yeah, there were times that we'd start playing, I'd still be under the
hey,
the
where's
stage.
Al? He's still stuck down there. Yeah.
And sometimes it comes up.
No,
See, I
no,
think-
and then another time we had one that went up about 20 feet. It never came down.
I think it's important to keep a sense of humor about the whole thing. You know,
Absolutely.
it's part of life.
That's what makes it work.
Yeah.
Thanks, Drew. We will be back with more from Eddie and Alex in just a minute on the Global Satellite Net. Thank everyone for listening in, for calling in tonight. Don't forget, next Monday night, part 2 of Van Halen Back to Back featuring Sammy and Michael. Also coming up, Simple Minds, the world premiere of the great new CD from Collective Soul, and a whole lot more. We want to thank tonight Ray Daniels and Kim Garner of SRO Management, to Tucker Williamson and Kenny Povogel at Warner Brothers Records, to Scotty Ross for his special help, and to our guests tonight, Eddie and Alex Van Halen. Gentlemen,
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Steve.
Oh, it's great to have you,
Had
as
a great
always.
time.
Now, we're having Sammy and Michael in here next week. Any special questions I should make sure we get to with these guys, or what do you think?
No, but we can ask them something to ponder, and that is, you can't tell which way the train went by looking at the track.
That's deep.
And ask Sammy. Forget it.
Well, that's a good one.
Sam's listening right now. Sam, we'll see you next week.
I'm Steve Downs. See you.